Beautiful. Let's hear for our adult choir and Rick Fortner up there. You guys sound great. Wow. I think it's a little bit of an Earth Day theme up there with the music. And of course, Earth Day's coming up this Monday. So we're thinking about Mother Earth and our chalice lighter in just a minute. I'm going to invite forward from our green team to light our chalice. But before that, let me welcome you to All Souls, those who are here for the first time. This is our point service. It's our humanist service each week. It's a service that brings together people, seekers of all kinds, those who question, agnostics, atheists, seekers. Everybody is welcome in this place, and I'm glad you're here. And those who are online, we're glad you're here as well. So at this time, I would like to invite you, if you would, join me in the words of the All Souls Covenant, which is printed here in your program, and it begins with the word love. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Welcome to All Souls, where we love beyond belief. And at this time, I would like to invite Gary Allison to come forward with Kathy Hinkle. Kathy heads up our garden team out here that makes our beautiful, beautiful memorial garden and grounds, and the beautiful plants out front and flowers look so good with her team. And Gary helps to lead our green team doing the environmental justice. And they're going to light our chalice this morning.
May this flame inspire us to love our world, to protect it courageously, and to commit wholeheartedly to the well-being of all its inhabitants.
In its light, let us acknowledge the heavy burden our planet bears, a consequence of our relentless pursuit of excess and exploitation.
May we see clearly the paths twisted by our own hands and strive to restore the harmony of the earth's chorus, forsaking the false idols that have led us astray.
And let us also embrace each new light among us, for together these lights will illuminate our way forward and brighten our collective path toward healing and respect for all life.
I thank you for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees, and the blue, true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I who have died am alive again today. And this is the sun's birthday. This is the birthday of life and of love and wings, and of the gay, great happening element of the earth. How should tasting, touching, hearing, seeing, breathing, and electric from the glow of all nothing. weeping, doubts unimaginable now the ears of my ears awake, and now the eyes of my eyes are
Beautiful. Yeah, we can. Beautiful. Let's see. I need an assistant to help me out. Anyone willing to help me out? Any young people in the congregation that could help me out? Oh well. By the sound of your voice, I'm not sure you're young enough to help me out with this. How about you two? Would you two help me out? You guys? No, you're a little nervous. All right, you don't have to help me out. Come on, anybody? It's an easy job. All right, I'm going to recruit the older ones if I have to. All right, whose voice was that said that they were? Please come on up. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Here's what I need. I have this stick, and I'm wondering if you think you can break this stick. Yeah? Let's see. Oh, yes. All right, that's great. Now, one stick is easy to break, but now I want to see if you can break this bundle of sticks. Don't hurt yourself now. That's it. You can't do it, right? Thank you. I hope you're okay there, and beautiful. Let's give him a round of applause. We appreciate that. I love children of all ages. That's why we call it a message for all ages. Thank you for that, and I'm so glad you didn't break these, because my message is about the fact that one stick alone is obviously easy to break, just like one person all by themselves can be broken more easily or harmed or hurt or just not as strong. But that when we come together, and when a bunch of people are together, we're stronger together. We can support one another. We can strengthen one another through whatever happens in our lives. And so that really represents the idea of our church, or the idea of our community coming together and being all souls. And the ribbons that hold us is our covenant, which we just said. And the covenant is a promise that we make to each other, because here at All Souls, we don't have a belief that we expect everybody to believe the same, right? Most churches, temples, religions have a belief that everybody believes, and that's what makes them a community. But here at All Souls, we have lots of different beliefs and disbeliefs and questions, and we welcome everybody to be a part of this community. So what binds us together is not a right belief or one belief that everybody's supposed to ascribe to, but it's a promise that we make about how we're going to be in relationship with each other. And it is to, and you can say it along with me if you know it, dwell together in peace, seek the truth in love, and help one another. Very simple in a way, and yet deeply profound. And so that's what holds us together, and we're stronger together. And I'm so glad you're here, even if it's a little bit of a lighter Sunday in terms of attendance because of this beautiful weather today. We're still stronger together, and it's great to see you this morning. I know that there are new members who've joined All Souls in the last 6 months. In fact, we welcomed about 30 new members on the chancel this morning at the first service, and I believe there are others who are here now, and I would like to invite you, if you're one of the new members who've joined All Souls since October, to please come forward and join me up here on the chancel. We have a beautiful little ceremony that we'd like to have you be a part of. everywhere, All Souls Everywhere members as well, joining online. We probably have a couple hundred people watching with us online right now, and they include these new members who've joined since October: Kay Sind from Anchorage, Alaska; In Ho Yi from Seattle, Washington; Sandy Green from Moldova, Oklahoma; Justin Howell from Somerville, Georgia. Welcome, welcome. Justin Alexander from Shawnee, Oklahoma; Jenny Siat from Jakarta, Indonesia. I don't know what time it is in Jakarta, but I'm glad you're with us. And Robert Hinkle Roberts from Mesa, Arizona. So it's great to have our Everywhere members, and we hope that you will participate and wave if you're on Zoom so others can see you and welcome you in that way. For the new members, I ask you, will you honor our covenant to dwell together in peace, seek the truth in love, and help one another? If so, please say, I will. All right. And now to the congregation. As our community grows, do you affirm and reaffirm, I should say, your commitment to the covenant of love and service that binds us together? If so, please say, I will. Wonderful. And will you welcome these new members into our community and into your heart, and strive to dwell with them in peace, support their search for truth and for love, and help them when they are in need? If so, please say, I will. And now to all of us, new members, we're all members now. Let us remember that our covenant, it's a promise that we make to each other. It's a practice that we strive to live into together. None of us are perfect, and so when we falter or if we fail in living out our covenant, will you take responsibility, seek forgiveness, and begin again in love? If so, please say, I will. Wonderful. That is beautiful. At this time, I'd like to invite, I have some volunteer youth, if you would come forward and help me as we welcome these new members. We have a rose, and if you remember how when we welcome babies into the congregation, we do this, use some of these similar words. And so we're going to do the same for you. And new members online, Everywhere members, I'm gonna do this with you. Let's see, everybody try to line up, and let's see if we can get one person in front of one person. So you should not be behind. You should be lined up in front of somebody. There we go. So everybody raise your hand if you do not have somebody in front of you. Everybody have somebody? You're somebody? You got everyone's got somebody? Beautiful. Nice. Is there anybody left? All right. And for you online, I'm going to do this with you as well. So follow me, say these words after me, and do as I do. We need one more. Shannon Boston, come on forward. Here's a rose. Beautiful. All right. We're not used to having so many people join. We had 70 people join in the last 6 months. You can see all their names on the back of the order of service. And we love it. We're going to have to start doing this every 3 months or something. All right. Repeat after me if you have a rose in your hand, and do as I do, but to the other person. I'm going to do it to myself. All right? Welcome to the family of All Souls.
Welcome to the family of all souls.
May your eyes see beauty.
May your eyes see beauty.
May your lips speak truth.
May your lips speak truth.
May your heart know love. And may your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life. All right, welcome. Let's welcome all these new members into our life. Thank you all. Thank you all. You may be seated.
And now we can.
The children and youth, if you would like to go to Sunday school, you may be dismissed and have some fun and learn some things with Miss Shannon Boston, our religious educator. Sometimes it seems like organized chaos or disorganized. For those who don't like organized religion, I like to think that we can be a little bit disorganized. But I really thank you, everybody who helped us and who's joined as new members. It used to be just this sweet ritual with 4 or 5 people, each time, 6, 8 at the most. So we're learning how to do this with so many people joining All Souls, and it's great to have this problem. It's exactly the kind of problem we love to have. Let's take a moment just to center ourselves now and kind of come into the center of this day and come into the center of our own hearts and come into the center of this moment with presence. Take a deep breath. Feel yourself grounded on the earth, this Mother Earth that we celebrate on Earth Day tomorrow and hopefully celebrate every day. We're so fortunate to have the earth, which gives us such bounty. I think about how we have all the elements within us. We have the earth because everything we eat, it has the minerals that come through the soil that grow into it, and then we eat and they become a part of our body. So we literally have the earth in us. We have the water that comes from the mountains, that comes from the clouds, that comes from the oceans in us. Like 65% of us comes from that water that keeps recycling and going through, and it comes down and becomes a part of us. We have the heat from the sun. I mean, the fact that our bodies radiate heat. If the sun wasn't there, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing it. We have that heat source, that fire within our bodies. And of course, air. We're breathing it in. It's entering into our blood, into our lungs, into our blood, into our hearts, into our brains. They keep us alive. So earth, fire, air, and water. We're made of all of the elements. Let us be thankful for that and thankful for this life and the breath of life while we still have it. Also thinking of all those in the Jewish community. We'll be celebrating Passover coming up this coming week. We're thinking about them. We're thinking about the people, of course, in Israel celebrating the holiday in the midst of war. We're thinking about the people in Gaza and all over in Ukraine and just everywhere where there's things happening. We're thinking about them. Let us send them our positive energy, send them our love and our care and our concern. And let's just take a moment of silence to let all this and the other things that are on your heart and in your mind, let them come forward as they will. And just let them be. Let it be. We are here, right now. We are the earth. We are filled with fire and water and air.
I hear you calling, ancient mother. I hear your song, ancient mother. I feel your laughter, Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, we hear you calling. Ancient Mother, we hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I love it when I just feel that feeling in this place when we're gathered and we're thinking about our connection to all life, and I just feel like we're in it together, and I just feel this kind of warmth develop between us, like the strings that tie us together kind of become visible for a moment as we're here, and I go, oh yeah, I'm connected to all these people. They're connected to me. We're connected to one another. This life, we've chosen to ride on this blue boat of the earth home together, and we've decided to tie our lives together in this really unique and meaningful way. And it's just great. So welcome, thank you. Thank you for those who are in Anchorage and Jakarta and wherever else you're watching from, and you're a part of this community too, and we feel your presence. It means a lot to us to have you here as well. I've always liked the story of the whisper test. You may have read it. It's from Mary Ann Bird. In it, she writes, I grew up knowing I was different and I hated it. I was born with a cleft palate. And when I started school, my classmates made it clear to me how I looked to others. A little girl with a misshapen lip, crooked nose, lopsided teeth, and garbled speech. When schoolmates asked, what happened to your lip? I'd tell them that I had fallen and cut it on a piece of glass. Somehow, it seemed more acceptable to have suffered an accident than to have been born different. I was convinced that no one outside of my family could love me. There was, however, a teacher in the second grade who we all adored, Ms. Leonard. She was short, round, happy, a sparkling lady. Annually, we had a hearing test. Ms. Leonard gave the test to everyone in the class, and finally, it was my turn. I knew from past years that as we stood against the door and covered one ear, the teacher sitting at the desk would whisper something, and we'd have to repeat it back. Things like, the sky is blue, or do you have new shoes? I waited there for those words, those 7 words that changed my life. Ms. Leonard whispered, she said in a whisper, "I wish you were my little girl." She loved me. And she said it out loud with those 7 words, and it changed my life. It changed my sense of who I am. Transformed by words. What we say matters. We have the ability to create change even with our words. And life is change. And unlike all other creatures, we human beings have the ability to change things and create something new that never existed before. Whether it's a poem or a piece of music or an iPad or a building, a community that respects all different kinds of beliefs, that respects different people's questions and honors their humanity. We are change agents by our very nature. Our words have the power to shape and transform reality, and to think how careless we can be sometimes with our words. How many people have had a teacher, a preacher, a parent, a partner tell them, "Well, you're not a good artist, or you're not a good dancer, or you're not a good writer," or something else that with a few words cast a spell over you, set you in a trance so that you started to believe that that was reality. Our words matter, and they can transform a person's life. Our lives have been transformed by words from other people. Now, as transformative and powerful as our words can be, saying "I love you" is not going to stop bombs from coming down on Gaza or to Ukraine. It's not going to get the hostages back to Israel. Saying "I love you" is not going to end global warming. It's not going to ensure that America remains a democracy. That's transformation on a whole nother level. And I want to talk about that today, about what we can do to be agents of change in all different ways, big and small. It comes from focusing on what we can actually influence with our lives. So in the story that I opened with, the whisper test, the teacher, Ms. Leonard, she wasn't a doctor. She could not help this little 7-year-old girl, Marianne, fix her lip. Miss Leonard had no power to do anything to protect little Marianne from the people that she would meet throughout her life who might tease her or reject her in some way because of how she looked. But she did have influence in one area. She could let her know that she was loved and that she was lovable. She worked within her sphere of influence in the things that she could actually impact. And by doing so, she changed the life of that girl. Heck, she might have changed your life now that you've heard the story. When we work within our sphere of influence, our influence grows. And that's why people who really make change in the world focus on, what can I do? Now, if you're like me, you have lots of concerns. The environment, homelessness, domestic abuse, hunger, war, poverty, oppression of all kinds, violence, gun violence, corruption. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. But most of these things are way outside mine and probably your sphere of influence. But it's interesting how much time we can end up spending talking about and thinking about and worrying about things that we can't do anything about. I've learned that the people who make a difference are people who focus on their own sphere of influence and go from there. And then their influence grows. So you might remember, I don't know, I'm looking out at the age of everybody here. You might remember the British rock band from the 1980s, the Boomtown Rats. Anybody remember the Boom? Oh yeah, okay. We got some Gen Xers here in the crowd. But do you remember what their one-hit song was? Anybody? Can you call it out? One hit, it was a one-hit wonder. I Don't Like Mondays. Remember that? I hope it doesn't get stuck in your head now. But that, I don't like Mondays, which is, of course, something that is very a common thing that many people feel, but it's not exactly a shining contribution to Western civilization to have a song, I Don't Like Mondays. But do you remember who the lead singer was in the Boomtown Rats? Bob Geldof. He's more well known for having organized the Live Aid concerts that happened in the late 80s that saved millions of people from starvation in Africa, particularly women and children. Now think about this. Bob Geldof, who you don't even know or remember his name, Bob Geldof was the leader of a band who had one hit years earlier. He and his bandmates were playing concerts in pubs throughout England and Ireland to make some money. And one day, he read that mass starvation was happening in Africa, and he decided that he wanted to try to do something about it. He knew a pub owner, and he had a band, and so he said, hey, we could play a benefit concert, raise some money, and help some people. He asked the pub owner, he said, great. And then about 6 weeks before the concert was going to happen, Geldof started putting flyers up around London about the benefit concert. For the young people in the congregation, before we had the internet, we had to, if you wanted to advertise something, you had to copy pieces of paper and hang them up on telephone poles and billboards around in coffee shops and stuff like that, libraries. Anyway, a few days later, after Geldof started putting these flyers around, he got a call from a man named Mick Jagger, who said, I saw your flyers around town, and I was wondering if it'd be okay if my band joined your band for the concert. Well, in the 1980s, the Rolling Stones were at their height of their popularity, and of course, Geldof said, sure, we'd love to play with the Rolling Stones. And so now the concert had to be moved from this little pub into a stadium in London. And when word got out that the Rolling Stones were playing a benefit concert to try to end hunger and starvation in Africa, well, then Elton John wanted to take part, and Eric Clapton and Sting and Freddie Mercury, and then pretty soon the American rock stars, so Tom Petty and everybody else, they wanted to be a part. And so it went from one stadium in London to two stadiums, one in London, one in New York, and then the television networks decided, let's simulcast this thing all over the world. Anybody remember the Live Aid concerts? Any of us old enough? All right. There's more of us who remember that. That was pretty special. It was pretty amazing. Pretty much every major rock band and personality got involved, and millions and millions of people watched, contributed, and millions of lives were saved because of that, and many people were given an opportunity to make a difference and be a part of doing it. But it didn't start with Geldof planning to change the world like this. It started because he had a concern, and he said, what can I do? Well, got the band, I know the pub owner, and he worked within his little circle of influence, and by doing that, his influence grew. Another great example that Stephen Covey likes to tell in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is Mahatma Gandhi. I mean, he was this guy, it's like short in stature. He walked around in like hand-spun linen robe-like clothes with sandals and bare feet and a little cane, this bald guy. And he was determined to do something to end colonialization and oppression of his people by the great British Empire. Now, he didn't start out by flying to London to talk to the king. He didn't even fly to New Delhi to try to talk to the legislators there. Quite frankly, they didn't give a darn what he had to say. Where he had influence was not on politicians, was not on politics, both either in Europe or in India. So what did he do? He started by meeting with the people in the rice fields of India. Those are the people who he had influence over. He built grassroots support, and his influence grew. This tiny little man went on to defeat one of the greatest colonial powers that the world has ever seen, not with weapons, but with influence. People who are effective, those who change the world, those who transform the course of history in big or very small ways, are the ones who put their time and they put their energy into things where they actually have some influence. So what does this have to do with us? Well, about 20 years ago, All Souls decided to give away 100% of our Sunday offering plate each week to organizations outside of our community. We had no idea how impactful this decision would be. What we knew was that we had a congregation full of people each week, and there were a lot of causes in our city that we knew were underfunded and needed support. Homelessness, hunger, abuse, education, addiction, the environment, more and more and more. Instead of just decrying the problem from up here, from there, from our homes, we decided to use the little influence we have to impact the little bit that we could. Do you realize before we did this, in a year, we would collect about $18,000 in the collection plate every Sunday. And there were some people who were like, we can't start giving it away. What do we do? 18,000, we're going to have to, that's going to change significantly our budget. It actually took us a year to decide, come on, we should just do this. And when we did, the first year we started giving away the plate, we raised over $130,000, and we gave it all away. I know, it was amazing. It was amazing. The tsunami, in fact, do you remember the tsunami that happened over in Asia? I think that Sunday morning we raised like $45,000. And then I think there was a hurricane or something else, we raised like $16,000 in one Sunday. It was just amazing to see the response. And the thing was that people started to support the church even more too. So we made up that $18,000 and then some. Because generosity begets generosity. People, when we start giving and realizing, wow, I'm having an impact, people decide to give more. When you use your influence grows. But that's not all. What we did not expect was that other Unitarian Universalist churches around the country would hear about it. In fact, there was an article eventually that was written in the National Unitarian Universalist magazine that goes out to people over 1,000 congregations around the country. Before long, there were hundreds of Unitarian Universalist churches all over the country giving away their offering each week. Now, we did not set out to impact homelessness, hunger, abuse, education, and more in Miami, Memphis, Minneapolis, or Boston, Buffalo, and Biloxi, or Tempe, Tuscaloosa or Tennessee, but that's what happened. All of a sudden, what we were doing here was not just helping some homeless here, but we're helping people all across the country because of what we decided to do. Because we decided to work within our sphere of influence, that influence grew, and the rest is history. Successful and effective people, people who feel empowered in their lives, are happy that they've got something to do and they're making a difference and they're doing what they can with their lives. They don't just feel a victim of society and a victim of life, but they actually feel like, hey, I'm making a difference. In my way, in the ways I can, I'm doing what I can do, are people who work within their sphere of influence. Don't spend all their time thinking about and worrying about things that they can't do anything about. So most of us would say there's no hell in the afterlife. Probably all of us. But we know that there are real hells right here in this life that many people are dealing with: hunger, war, poverty, prejudice. The great social reformer Dorothy Day said this: people say, what is the sense of our small effort? They cannot see that we must lay one brick at a time, take one step at a time. Each one of our thoughts, our words, and our deeds is like that. No one has the right to sit down and feel hopeless. And Margaret Mead said it this way: never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. To the new members of All Souls who are being welcomed into this community today, this is the tradition of which you are becoming a part, and we want to welcome you into this family. Now, I realize that listening to this, you may have spent a lot of time in your life with the spell somehow cast over you that you don't have much that you can do to make a difference. You might have been living under the trance that I'm just an individual, these things are too big for me. Well, if that's the case, then I hope this message is our little whisper test. And that, in a way, I've just whispered in your ear, not, I wish you were my little girl, but, oh, girl, welcome to the family. It's great to have you here. Welcome, everybody. I love you.
One more step. We will take one more step until there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. Every word is shared by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more song. We will sing one more song. Till every song is sung by everyone, we'll sing one more song. every word, till every song is sung.
Yes. Thank you, Rick. I love how these musicians, Rick and Dave, they just take what we do and they just elevate it and take it to the next level. Thank you so much for that. Just got a few announcements. Of course, we're going to take up an offering for today's offering is going to go to the YWCA of Tulsa, which has a mission to eliminate racism and empower women. I mean, those are two causes I think we can all get behind. So if you would, when the baskets come around in just a minute, if you donate into the basket, that's where the money's going to go. Of course, we can do this. We can give away the offering plate and keep the lights on and the piano's tuned and all the rest of it because our members pledge to the congregation, and we appreciate your pledges. And if you want to put your pledge into the basket, just make sure that you make it clear that that's what it's for. And there's some envelopes in the basket, and there's some links online for those of you online. A couple quick announcements before we take up the offering. Today at 12:45, in about 25 minutes, I'm going to be welcoming new members who want to join or want to find out about joining All Souls. That will be up in room 205 upstairs. So just enough time to go out, grab a cup of coffee or some refreshments, look at the books in the bookstore, meet some people. If you're here for the first time and you want to just learn a little bit more about All Souls, just when you go out the doors here on the left, there's our library, the Sonnen Library is just there on the left, and there'll be someone there. They've got some snacks and things and just can answer your questions. I know it's different than a lot of places, so you may have a lot of questions. We'd be happy to answer any questions. It's kind of come and go, drop in as you like. Also, next Sunday is going to be Youth Sunday. So both services, the youth, our high school kids, they're taking over. They're going to do all the music, all the messages. Everything's going to be by them. And this is a very interesting generation. This is the generation who are graduating from, who lived through the pandemic. They went through high school through the pandemic. And I think, I imagine it would be very interesting to hear what's on their minds and what's in their hearts today. Also, alongside that, we're going to have our art market next weekend. So you can also come here to youth, but also arts and crafts from local artisans and things will be in Emerson Hall. That starts on Saturday. If you want to come get a sneak peek on Saturday, 10 to 12, and then it'll be again Sunday, 10 to 12. And it's always a great market full of cool stuff. And also just want to tell the parents, register your young ones for Camp Mount Olympus is the theme this year for the summer camp, which is coming up in June 17th through 21st, and the registrations are now. And we'd love to have your young people. It's kind of a Greek mythology-themed camp this year. It should be great. Right now, let us receive our offering for the YWCA.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all we travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
You know, have a wonderful Earth Day tomorrow, and I hope that you'll know that there is things we can do, you know, in our own little way. Don't think that it's pointless. Do what you can do, and maybe we can turn things around and help this Earth, which is in us. We're part of it, to survive and thrive. And join our green team if you want, and you can find out more about it. I do want to say, you know, when I was doing the children's moment, or the moment for all ages a little while ago, that it was surprising, right, that an adult came up instead. And I'm like, oh, I hope he doesn't break those things because it's going to ruin my message completely. Which helps me realize that, you know, life does that. It throws us surprises all the time. And it is nice when that happens that you have a strong network of people who you care about, who care about you, who you can trust, who aren't trying to change you or don't have an agenda for your life other than for you to thrive and be happy, and your children to be raised in an environment where they can thrive and be happy and feel good about who they are and whoever they are. So we're so glad you're here. Welcome to the new members. If you see somebody on your way out that has a yellow rose, I hope that you will give them a little special love and welcome into the life of All Souls. If you're thinking about joining or want to meet and talk about it, I'll see you in about 20 minutes in room 205. And for the rest of you online and everywhere, may your eyes see beauty, may your lips speak truth, may your heart know love, and may your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life. And until we meet again, go and be loving and go and be loved. Hey, thank you. I'm glad you didn't break those sticks. I'm like, oh, man. Hey there, welcome. Hey, how you doing? Good. Good to see you.